This roadie has a stuck R button. It can't be pressed, so the roadie isn't switching on. To fix this issue, all we are going to need is a screwdriver and a blade of some kind. The first step is to open the plastic body of the roadie. To do that, we're going to pull it diagonally, and this will allow the plastic part to separate. First side done. Now we're going to open the second side. As you can see, it should be an easy process. Sometimes it might be a bit stuck, so you may need to wiggle the plastic a little bit and then pull it. Most importantly, the pulling force has to be diagonal to the body of the roadie. Now we're going to remove the top screen cover. You can do so with your hand by putting your fingernails between the screen plastic and the body plastic, then pulling the screen cover off. Another way of doing it is to use the blade to carefully unhook the edges of the screen, and then without scratching it, pull each side up. After pulling apart the screen cover and the plastic parts, it's time to remove the screws. Once the screws are removed, hold the scrolling wheel and the peg connector tightly and pull the plastic off. Now we're going to take out the motor. As you can see, the screen, the small PCB, and the scrolling wheel are all in the same assembly, so you can take them out carefully at the same time. You have to be cautious in order to avoid breaking the small flexible PCB that connects the screen to the circuit board. The scrolling wheel and the R button can now be separated. If you press the button, the screen should turn on normally, which shows us that everything is operational and that the problem is indeed that the R button is simply stuck. To solve this problem, we use the blade to carve out a small portion of plastic on the inside section of the button. Carve the edges of the smallest button circle, just a small amount to make the circle a little wider. Alternatively, you can use a hand reamer or drill press with the proper depth set on the proper bit to do the same job. Let's check to see if the solution worked. The R button is not stuck anymore and working properly. No matter how hard we press, the button is still working. Now let's reassemble roadie. The button is composed of 3 shapes around the edge. Each shape should be placed in its proper place on the scrolling wheel. The scrolling wheel has 2 metallic parts. The upper one should always be placed on the top part of the roadie, and the lower one should be placed on the bottom part. Now we reassemble the scrolling wheel with the attached button. Reassemble the screen first, followed by the PCB, and then the scrolling wheel. Make sure to place the upper metallic part on the top side and in its proper place. Put the motor back in its original position, and then close the plastic and replace the screws. You will need to completely press the plastic parts horizontally together to close them properly. Finally, replace the screen cover. The R button is now working properly and the repair is complete. Good job!